If you have been mixing or watching mixing tutorials for a while, you have probably heard somebody say that you should mix in mono, or at least check your mix in mono. Although generally speaking, this is good advice, it is completely worthless if you don't know what you should be paying attention to when doing so. Stereo, which remains the current standard for music, refers to a method of sound reproduction that creates a sense of spaciousness and directionality by using two audio channels. In stereo, audio signals are distributed between left and right speakers to provide a more immersive and realistic listening experience known as the stereo image. The stereo image includes a phenomenon called the phantom center, where even though sound comes from two distinct speakers, we perceive elements that are being played equally loudly on both sides as if they are coming from a single point between the speakers. While the phantom center is essentially achieved by panning instruments to the center, elements panned left and right can also generate center information that may conflict with the main elements of the mix. For example, this guitar track is panned 100% to the left, but there's still center information, also known as mid, as you can observe on the mid-side spectrum analyzer. But why is this important? Well, it's significant because the mid information of instruments not panned to the center of the stereo image can conflict with the main elements panned to the center, thus diminishing the clarity of the mix. Listen to how the guitar track gets in the way of the vocals when I raise the level of the center information, even though it is panned 100% to the left.
Feche os olhos pra esquecer, pra não mais te ver. Feche os olhos pra esquecer, pra não mais te ver.
Generally, the mid information generated by transient material, such as drums and percussion, doesn't significantly affect the clarity of the mix, as these instruments are quick and transitory. The actual issue arises from sustained tonal harmonic elements that often occupy the same frequency range as the vocal, which is the primary element in the center of the mix. The dirty little secret I'd like to share with you today is to realize that these harmonic elements, bass excluded, are balanced in a way that the mid information does not exceed the vocal's loudness, or the loudness of whichever element is the main thing in the center of your mix. And I'm going to say even more. From my experience, the mid-channel of the harmonic elements is usually at least 3 to 4 dB below the vocals in loudness units, and sometimes even lower depending on the genre. So this is why people suggest checking your mix in mono. It's because the mid component of the tonal elements can interfere with the main elements in the center, if not balanced properly. To ensure that you balance the harmonic elements of your track to the appropriate levels, just follow these two straightforward steps. Step 1. Acquire a reference track in the same genre as your track and separate it into stems using AI-based softwares or services like Ripex, Spectralayers, Fader, Moises, or Lalali. I employed Ripex to divide my reference track into drums, bass, vocals, and other elements. Step 2. Utilize Brainworks BX Solo or BX Control to isolate and compare the mid component of the harmonic elements with the vocals, and employ the difference between the measurements as a reference for your own mix. Before we continue, I'd like to point out that this technique is just one example from my recently released Pro-Level Reference Mixing ebook. I'll provide a link in the description if you're interested in checking it out. Without further delay, we are now going to take a look into some real-world examples, but unfortunately, I had to disable the music to prevent copyright issues. Nickelback's How You Remind Me presents a difference of 3 LUFS. The same difference is found in this song by Silverstein. Again, 3 LUFS of difference in Santa Monica by Theory of a Dead Man. Green Day's American Idiot has a difference of 1 LUFS only. This country song also exhibits a difference of approximately 3 to 4 LUFS. This reggaeton exhibits a larger difference of 5 LUFS. Finally, this Travis Scott track exhibits the largest difference of 11 to 12 LUFS. As you could observe, each individual example featured the mid-channel of the harmonic elements being quieter than the vocals in terms of loudness. This holds particular significance for genres based off real recorded instruments, such as rock, metal, country, and similar styles. In these cases, the harmonic elements often occupy a more prominent position in the mix, which increases the probability of unintentional masking of the vocals. In my opinion, making use of AI to split reference tracks has proven to be quite helpful in obtaining guidance on how to approach mixing a specific genre. I hope you have also found this tip useful. That's all I have for today. See you soon.